Hi there, welcome to another Team Clueless battle report. This is the first battle report from my new abode, so we are now playing in the kitchen. My opponent today is Mark over there. What are we playing today, Mark? We're playing a Maelstrom mission. Have we any idea which number? Yeah, the one that escalates upwards, so we get 1 turn 1 all the way up to 6 turn 6. And so on. So Mark is piloting the new Dark Angels, and I'm using the new Codex Space Marines. We've got our little card decks for each. We have already rolled for setup zones and such, so I'm setting up over here. Objectives, we have objective 1 there, 2 there, 3 over there. We have 4 in the centre, 5 in the middle of these ruins, and 6 over there behind that little wall. As I say, I have this setup zone, but I've also won the role to see who sets up first and gets choice of going first, so I've taken that. So I'll be setting up shortly, and then we'll go on to our 1500 point armies for the day. So, as usual, I am piloting the red-coloured Space Marines, and today we are using the Ultramarines chapter tactic, because our warlord is Tigerius there. Troops in my CAD that I'm using, we have a tactical squad. They've got a grav cannon, a grav gun, and a combi melter on the sergeant. We then have a squad of scouts there. They've got a melter bomb and a combi melter on the sarge, and they're in a land speeder storm with a heavy flamer. The scouts kept their bolt guns. We have another squad of scouts armed with sniper rifles, no camo cloaks, but they do have a missile launcher in there, because that's spare 10 points. We also have, in elites, we have 8 stern guard with 2 heavy flamers. And we have a basic dreadnought with an assault cannon. It's the classic old unit, which has been improved somewhat with points, drops, and more attacks. So I've decided to give it a try in a drop pod, see what it can do. And then rounding off in heavy support slot, we have my Sikaran battle tank, which I've now partly painted at least. It's getting that way. It's got a dozer blade on there. It's an invisible one. It looks like it can ignore terrain anyway, because it's a tank. But it doesn't have any other upgrades, so it's not immune to melt or anything, so I couldn't afford the points. And then we have, is it called an armoured company? One of the detachments from the Space Marine Codex. From that, we have a single tech marine. He's got a servo harness, and he's got more specs. And then our 3 different tank squads that you have to take, we have a single whirlwind, and 2 single Vindicators. They both got dozer blades. And that is exactly 1500 points for me. Oh, psychic powers. Tigris has rolled up perfect timing, shrouding, and psychic shriek. So a nice little selection there.
Right there, guys. This is my 1500 points of Dark Angel. Sorry. Apologies. Damn it. Yeah, it's very, very stealthy Dark Elder. So my apologies for sort of the lack of paint in the middle of a hodgepodge. I left some models behind. I've just generally monged it really today. Right, so anyway, this is my Warlord. He's going to be used as Azrael today. And for Warlord traits, I selected the +3 charge, which I think is really good.
Model, Mark. Whatever they say on their website, that's the model you use for Azrael.
Well, yeah, he's completely correctly armed, which I quite like. Yeah. My Tiggy is going to be counted as Ezekiel, so we're having a sort of a level 3 Libby off at the moment. And his powers... comes with the default primaries of Mindworm. I've also taken Mushroom and Misery, Trepanation, and Mind Wipe, so it should be quite interesting little duel going on there. I have a 5-man Raven Command Squad. They have an Apothecary, they have a Grenade Launcher, and they have a Champion. This is one of my proxies. This is a 5-man command squad. They've all got the grav guns, and they've got the banner, which gives them Relentless, and they're coming in a drop pod. I have a Raven Wing support squadron. Inside there, you've got the Broken Dark Shroud land speeder with a heavy bolter. I have 3 land speeders. 2 of them have got the Typhoon missile launchers and heavy bolters. This one is just going to have the heavy bolter. I've also got 1 more land speeder down here. He's just armed with a multi-melter. I have a Raven Wing Dark Talon, I think it is, the one with the Rift Gun, the sort of the strength 10 can make it vortexy. And then finally, my troop choices, I got 1 of each kind of scout squad, so 5 sniper rifles, 5 bolters, and 5 punchy scouts.
Okay, so we've done our setup. I set up first. I've set up my tac squad over here. The combat squad tactical squad is inside. I have a Vindicator there and there. Stern Guard with both Tiggy and the Tech Marine inside there. We have the Sikaran at the back and the Whirlwind there. I have infiltrated my scouts into this ruin and they're perching on the top. Mark stuck his scouts over there, the ones with snipers. He's got his Evil Squadron of Doom over there. He has his, are these Black Knight or Command Squad? They're Command Squad, aren't they? Well, we have to take Black Knights. And then we have his Bolter Scout Squad in there. He's completed all his scout moves and such. In reserve, Mark has his Flyer outflanking these ones.
Yeah.
I have outflanked my land speeder Storm. Obviously, we're both drop podding in our drop pods. Mark's got both his characters in his, and Mark is drop podding in his multi-melter speeder. So Mark is now going to obviously roll a 6 and steal the initiative, as happens on every one of our videos. Mark, I think we better retake, and because you know we've always got to have a 6 on the video, haven't we?
Well, to be fair, I was only looking for 5.
Ah, that's true. Okay, all done. Let's see what happens. End of Space Marine, Ultramarine, turn 1. So what happened here? I basically advanced my line of tanks over here. Sakaran sat at the back because it could basically fire at most of the battlefield. Mark had obviously moved up over here. I felt we'd made a slight mistake here because I could move up with my squad of Stern Guard, get out to the squad, and fire at him with my wounds on a 2+, and I could cast Ignore's cover with Tigerius. It started well. I rolled a 6 in the psychic phase. I put 5 dice in, which I think I probably agree with Mark was not enough to put in. I think in my brain I was thinking Tiggy got me more successfully. He only rolled 1 success on the 5 dice, so Mark quite rightly rolled all 6 of his dice to deny and cancelled Ignore's cover, which I think is a massive point, because even though I use my Auspex from my Tech Marine, they were on a free-up rerollable save, so there's not really anything in my army that can hurt them. So I fired all the Stern Guard with all of their stuff at them, didn't hurt any, unfortunately. Then the Dreadnought had drop podded down over there, mainly for the express purpose of firing as assault cannon into the, what's that called? Dark Shroud, because I have to make that squad jink every turn now, so they'll just kill me. They've got so much firepower there, and it's immune to me shooting back, generally. So he fired there, made the squad jink, so I generally don't need to worry about it then. The 2 Vindicated moved this way. They fired over there, both hitting that squad, even though it's got a free-up rerollable save. One of them managed to actually kill one because it ignored the Feel No Pain, so that was reasonably useful. The Scouts I clipped with 2 heavy flamers from here while firing at the bike squad, and managed to kill 4 of them. I then fired the Whirlwind and the Stormbolter at the remaining scout, but he failed to run away. But it had pushed the Scouts, and killing that 1 biker had pushed Mark off this objective, and the one I'd drawn this turn was secure objective 2, so that gave me a point. The 2 Scouts squads over here, my Scout squad of snipers fired at Mark's. I had a rocket launcher as well, which aided me because Mark had 3 reasonably close together. I managed to kill 2 of them. They then failed a leadership test and had run off the board. So that was also really good there. I've cast Shrouded with Tigerius just to give his squad a bit of protection against all of the firepower that might be coming in. I'm quite scared of Mark's grab dudes who are coming down. And other than that, the Sakaran fired over there. Mark had a 2-up save, but I positioned myself so I couldn't see these front 2 speeders due to this nice big line of sight blocking thing here. So I fired my main gun, which ignores Jinx save, so he doesn't get to re-roll his 2-up save. I managed to get 1 through on the Dark Shroud, which has unfortunately only knocked off its heavy bolter. I'm assuming it only had a heavy bolter. Yeah. But better than nothing. I've taken a whole point off it, meaning Mark's more likely to want to jink in the future. So overall, a reasonably good turn. I got first blood and I scored my 1 objective, so can't ask for a whole lot more than that. Well, reasonably, you can't ask for a whole lot more than that. Let's see what Mark does in response.
Right, end of Dark Angels, turn 1. For my card, I drew Ascendancy. Unfortunately, I didn't really kind of have enough units on the board to kind of capitalise in, especially with my scouts running off last turn. So what have I done? These guys I pulled back. Essentially, I was trying to get on an objective, and I can't really deal with this guy as such, but probably actually a mistake bringing him back now that I think about it. But anyway, that's what I've done. The Grav guys come in with a drop pod. I did actually quite bad with the grab guns, killing the Stern Guard. I only killed, I think, 3 with the grab, which did nowhere near as much as I thought. However, the scout, I think, popped in.
2 on his own.
Scout Sergeant killed 2. I think the drop bolt may have killed 1, and I think my plasma gun managed to kill 1. So I did quite a lot of damage to Stern Guard in the end. There's only 2 left plus their characters. The other good bit of luck, fortune for me, was Ezekiel fired, is it Mind Worm? Which can actually target a vehicle. It's Strength 6 onto the Whirlwind, so I rolled, I obviously cast it with 4 successes. I'm BS 5, so I hit on a 2+. I rolled the 6 to pen, which was quite lucky, and then I rolled a 6 and it's AP2, so I blew it up. So that was quite great. I was quite lucky there. And then these guys are kind of turbo boosted across. I really just don't have a lot of firepower because so much of my stuff jinked last turn. I still got little bits of the pieces, so I think that's really going to start to tell already. And I don't know why I again made a mistake with these guys. I don't know why I'm put so close to Dreadnought. That was just
I wondered that when I really thought you were going to assault this squad to take out Tiggy.
I couldn't assault it.
Oh, because you scout. Sorry, I always forget that.
Yeah, I couldn't assault.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they're hard to know what to do with. Once they've jinked, they can't assault and they can't shoot. So
Yeah.
what do you do with them?
It was real big. I have no idea why I've got Cyclation Dreadnought. It's just a mistake on my part, really.
End of Ultramarine turn 2. So what happened this turn? So I rolled for reserves. My reserves were outflanking scouts on a Landspeeder Storm. Came on this side of the board, unfortunately, which wasn't the side I wanted to, but actually probably worthwhile. I came on as tight to this board edge as possible because this squad of marks has Interceptor, which we forgot last turn. So I came on as tight to this board as possible, so Mark could only really fire with a heavy bolter on here, as the rest of them have got forward-facing guns, and it's on a pivot mount. I decided not to jink, but Mark's heavy bolter was pretty accurate because they've got, is it strafing run? Means a hit on a 2 against ground-based vehicles. So he hit me and penned me, well, glanced me twice, which took out my vehicle because I hadn't jinked. But my squad got out, made their pinning check, and were on objective 6, which was one of my objectives this turn. So that's all well and good. I then declared my shooting and declared I was firing my combi melter just to force Mark to jink, which he duly did. My scouts up here didn't really have any other targets because that squad's got a 2-up rerollable jink. So fired over there at Mark's bikes, didn't do anything to them. I declared my Ultramarines tactical doctrine just because I'm running out of units that can use it, so might as well use it now. I'd got out my tactical squad. I'd unfortunately misjudged the range of a grav cannon, stupid me. For some reason I had 18 in my brain, so it was out of range over here. But I fired my bolt guns from this squad, and I had given them all rending with Tigurius's Warlord power, but Mark had an invulnerable save on his unit over here anyway. I think I did a couple of wounds with that squad, so took out, Mark had got all of his grav gun marines furthest forward. I'd taken out a couple with those. I fired my Stormbolter from here, my Stormbolter from my drop pod over there, my Stormbolter from that Rhino there, and 2 guys who are half a tactical squad inside fired their bolters out the back, and I managed to take out, I think, all but one of the Marines there. Mark's saves weren't brilliant. Then I fired both Vindicators in turn, straight on top. I managed to get 3 hits on Mark's squad of each, and managed to hurt the drop pod. Oh, we need to check to see if the drop pod's destroyed. We can't remember. We'll work that out in a sec. Mark, again, even though his squad had invulnerable saves, wasn't rolling brilliantly, and in the end he had to look out Sir from Azrael, the strength 10, onto Ezekiel. Ezekiel bought the bullet, and Azrael managed to save the last wound from the Vindicator, so he's still alive on full wounds. My 2 Stern Guard had split off from the 2 characters, just so the characters had a bit more protection, and they had chipped into this ruin here, firing their bolt pistols at the remaining scout as they went. They then assaulted him and just about managed to kill him in assault, which was good because my other objective was Emperor's Retribution, which is take an objective that your enemy held at the start of the turn. So that's good. I managed to take that objective from Mark, so I scored another VP there. So I scored both my cards again, which is really good for me. The Sakaran, again, used... Sakaran seems really useful with this big bit of line of sight locking on both of these in the centre of the table, because from behind this gun you can see I positioned it so that I couldn't see 2 of Mark's land speeders over there. So basically I could not fire at the one he had stuck in front to protect his Dark Shroud, because the Sakaran ignores the Jink save, so it's got a much better chance of hurting them. The squad still has Shrouded, unfortunately, though. I got 4 hits through that could hurt them, but Mark made 3 of his Shrouded saves, which made up a bit for his atrocious rolling earlier in the phase. So I basically knocked a whole point off of that speeder there, because it was the closest one to me. The Dreadnought fired at the bikes that Mark had close to it, killed one of the bikes, then assaulted in. He made a save against one of the Overwatch hits, so he didn't take any damage, and I hadn't actually consolidated him yet. He'll likely consolidate onto that objective. Let's see how many inches. He consolidates 1 inch, Mark. He moves slightly further into the cover. So he's in there, but Mark hit and ran away with his squad afterwards. Dreadnought only killed 1. Neither of us could hit for Toffee in there. And I think that was about it for my turn. The Psychic phase, I've got Shrouding up, and Psychic Shriek didn't do any damage, even though I managed to cast it successfully. Other than that, pretty good turn for me, I think. Over to Mark. He's got a couple more reserves that's still to come in.
Right, this is the end of my turn. All my reserves came in, which are quite good. These guys just moved around here. I was hoping to put some firepower down into scouts, but unfortunately I didn't do anything because I rolled really badly. My bikers, they position themselves around here, and with my flyer that came on, I have managed to wipe out the entire TAC squad. I've dealt 2 Tiggies now, got 1 wound left, and Tech Marine is still unharmed, and he rolled really bad. In fact, I rolled triple 6s for my Feel No Pain, so my squad survived.
I wasn't happy.
Azrael managed to charge in and kill the 2 Stone Guard, and my scouts are coming in and they're just hiding to put themselves on position. I did manage to score 1 VP, so currently it is 4-1, starting Cody's turn 3.
Okay, so it's Space Marine turn 3, and as you can see, we started clearing up the board. So
By
you can,
starting, you mean all our units are gone?
yeah, all our units are gone. We decided the game was over at the end of turn 3 and packed away stuff, and then we realised haven't done a video. So what happened turn 3 to cause us to say the game was over? So let's see. If you can remember, I had a big units down here. My 2 Vindicators both pulled back to here, fired at Azrael. Long story short, he failed one of his saves. Azrael removed, got a Warlord point. My objectives this turn were to kill a unit with shooting, so that's that then done. Another objective I had was to successfully charge. So my scouts over in this corner successfully charged Mark's speeder unit. They lost 3 of their number charging in, but they managed to destroy a speeder in combat that gave me the victory point was the important thing. You'll remember Mark had a little speeder on the floor down here. I managed to kill that with a storm bolter from the top of my Rhino. Yeah, good rolling, even though Mark had re-rollable jinx. I'd already fired my melter gun from inside the Rhino and it jinked it, but I managed to pop it with that, so that gave me another thing dead, and that removed the threat from there. My Sicaran fired over there. Got 3 hits through, even though it was snap firing. I cockily then asked Mark to make his saves, and he was like, "Oh no, you have to pen first." And then I failed all my pens, so that did nothing.
Free-eyed snake.
That's it. My dread over there fired at the speeders, but did nothing either. Down here, Tigorus succumbed to a Corvus hammer to the face, but the Tech Marine then mopped up the final 2 other people he was fighting, so Mark really didn't have anything left. He had 3 speeders left over there. 2 of them had taken whole points, I think. He had some scouts down here and a flyer in the middle, but I still had both Vindicators, and I'd scored, if I had control of 3 objectives that turn, so I had control of objective in the middle, objective over by the Dreadnought, objective down here, and the objective over there, so happily 3. So I scored D3 victory points for my final card of the round. I rolled a 6 on that. So I scored another 5 victory points. I think it was 9-2 in the end.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it might have been 11-2 possibly. No, 9-2.
9-2.
Yeah, 9-2, 10-2 because of the Slay the Warlord. So yeah, it was well over at that point. So quick discussion on the game, Mark.
Like I said, I think I knew beforehand I made quite a lot of mistakes in list building. I'd taken too few units that could impact it, and once I'd jinked with this squad, I played my bikes really badly, and then this unit rolled a really bad save. That was pretty much a lot of my five.
Yeah, that was your army really. Those 3 units, wasn't it?
Yeah, you just had the Sicaran makes me jink the dread.
Yeah,
and it was just like I just had nothing going back.
I think as we discussed probably off of camera, this was supposed to be a 2,000 point game, but we both got a bit delayed arriving this afternoon, so we cut it down to 15. And Mark, you said your army, you just cut down the army, didn't you? So you kept all your toys in and lost all your boys, as it were.
Basically.
So I think the army then didn't work as much. I was quite pleased with mine. Tiggy, I really like his, even though it didn't really come into play, I really like his Warlord trait with the Stern Guard. I think they're a really nice unit.
Yeah, really, really powerful. That's
one
of the best Warlord traits in the game. And
I quite like my Sicaran. It actually feels like a tank, which is one of the reasons I got it. Because I feel the other Space Marine tanks don't really feel like tanks. A lot of it's due to their 11 side armour. Yeah. And the fact that their guns just aren't that killy. You take a Predator and it's got a single las cannon shot on the top, twin-linked, even though it is, or a single auto cannon. You're thinking that's not a main battle tank armament, whereas that thing's cranking out 6 twin-linked, good rending shots on top of it. It feels like a tank that can actually deal damage, so I really like taking it. We both took drop pods, obviously, because they're always good. Any other Dark Angel stuff? We had a reasonable lengthy discussion on the re-rolling saves. I'm not a huge fan on re-rolling saves anyway. We always use if you've got a 2+ re-rollable, it goes to a 2-up, 4-up. But I think all the Raven Wing stuff's really powerful due to that. But as we were saying, there's so much superly powerful stuff in the game, then who's to say what's broken and what isn't, isn't it? You take that, but then if you're playing against Tau, they ignore cover on most of the army, so it's a bit pointless.
Yep, plenty of stuff is broken in this game now, so it's difficult to say.
Well, that's it. Okay, well, we've got to run. Thanks for watching, everyone. Sorry for the short game, and we'll see you next time.
See you now.